अच्छा, जब मैं बैरिया यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ती थी, देयर वाज अ कैफे जिसमें देयर वाज अ सेक्शन स्पेशली डेडिकेटेड टू वुमेन एंड दैट वाज हेवन फॉर अस. Similarly, I feel like including me, every woman has at some point in their life wondered कि काश इस दुनिया में सिर्फ औरतें होती, and this world was only dedicated to women. The sad part is कि that is almost impossible. But the good part is, if we don't have the entire world dedicated to us only, we do have this ride hailing service that's only dedicated to women. सबसे पहले तो मुझे ये बताएं कि what cities are you guys operating in right now?
So currently we're only in the twin cities, so Islamabad and Rawalpindi.
Okay.
Then so it's going to be Pindi, Islamabad, Lahore. Karachi is debatable because Karachi ki road बहुत खराब हैं, तो they do need to work on their roads for us to be there.
Women empowerment, women rights, that's more of a buzzword now. If you look at InDrive or Yango, of course they promise safety to women as well. What makes Pinkfly different?
So if you want to become a driver at any other ride-hailing service, I will not take names. There's no human contact before you can become a driver. So you submit your documents, that's it. Abhi, all the drivers that we are getting are drivers that are coming through a reference.
Just having a ride-hailing service limited to female customers doesn't make sense to me. At the end of the day, I could still go to any other platform that promises safety. How does Pinkfly differentiate itself in terms of this?
Like Uber came to Pakistan 10 years ago. Indra has been here for like about 3-4 years.
Yeah.
They've had the time. There have been multiple reports on Django and InDrive. No one's done anything about it.
अच्छा, जब मैं बैरिया यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ती थी तो देयर वाज अ कैफे जिसमें देयर वाज अ सेक्शन स्पेशली डेडिकेटेड टू वुमेन एंड दैट वाज हेवन फॉर अस. एवरीबडी लव्ड दैट. Similarly, I feel like including me, every woman has at some point in their life wondered कि काश इस दुनिया में सिर्फ औरतें होती, and this world was only dedicated to women. The sad part is कि that is almost impossible, and no offense to all my male colleagues here. But the good part is that if we don't have the entire world dedicated to us only, we do have this ride-hailing service that's only dedicated to women. Today I have with me Saim Iqbal, who has pioneered Pinkfly, which is one of the first comers in ride-hailing services only dedicated to women. Assalamu alaikum, Saim. How are you?
Welcome, Salam. I'm good. Thank you for asking.
Acha, Saim, we're going to talk about Pinkfly today. We're going to talk about Pakistan's startup ecosystem. And we're going to obviously talk about your personal journey as well. Because I think हर बच्चा ना आजकल दिन में एक बार ज़रूर सोचता है कि मैंने अपना startup start करना है.
Everyone wants to be a founder.
Exactly. Gen Z especially thinks about it every day, I'm sure. लेकिन मुझे पहले ये बताएं कि आपको बचपन से ही आग से खेलने का शौक था? Because I read on your LinkedIn that you're trying new things or things that always blow up in your face. What's that about?
Yeah, it's pretty innate to me. When I was little, I used to play sports with myself and the wall. And I used to have a surgery almost every year. कि मैं कभी slide से गिर जाता था, कभी कुछ. I've always had this need for adventure. And I think as I grew older, and I think a lot of kids in Pakistan go through this, that adventure is kicked out of them. And so this startup for me is getting that adventure back. So it's like a adventure of a lifetime for me.
So you're channeling it in all the right ways.
Sure.
I see it in your journey as well, from military chaos to corporate slavery to now a complete startup mindset. That's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
So you've always been inclined to not follow the safe path, that means.
Yeah, I've always tried to create my own path.
And how has it gone so far?
I think I'd be better positioned to answer this question in 2 years. I do think we're on a very good track. I love my life. I love the people that I work with. I love the work that I do. It's very fulfilling. I don't sleep a lot, but if I was sleeping, I'd sleep happy. And I do think in the next 3-4 years, we're going to change Pakistan. We're going to make a lot of positive impact. And I think that's important.
Yeah, I think it's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Acha, let's talk about Pinkfly. There are a few basic questions that anyone who hears about Pinkfly would want to know about. सबसे पहले तो मुझे ये बताएं कि what cities are you guys operating in right now?
So currently we're only in the Twin Cities, so Islamabad and Rawalpindi.
Okay.
The reason for that is we feel like this is home ground for us, and we can win here. Once we've conquered the city, like any conqueror will go to a different city then. So it's going to be Pindi, Islamabad, Lahore, and then we'll see if we want to go to Karachi or maybe some other big city.
Okay, so you do plan to scale up.
Yeah, Karachi is debatable because Karachi ki road bahut kharab hain, so they do need to work on their roads for us to be there.
I mean, I think you said that you don't like going for the safe path, so let's take that challenge sometime in the future. We'd love to see you doing that. अच्छा मुझे ये बताएं कि Pinkfly passion project था, social initiative था, या it was just a business venture for you? What does it exactly mean to you?
It's two things. One is that a very close friend of mine had an incident. So it's something that was personal to me. But more importantly, when I was in Canada and I told my friends about this idea, they all laughed. Like they literally laughed. And the laughter wasn't at me because they all know that I'm very capable. It was that Pakistan mein aisa kuch nahi ho sakta. It was that if you do something in Canada, it'll probably work because you're really smart. But because Pakistan is a dead nation and it's a sinking ship, why would anyone want to go do anything for that country? And these are pade likhe foreign Pakistanis, right? And if they have this thought process, then I could only imagine that like Pakistanis jo Pakistan mein reh rahe hain kya soch rahe honge. So I wanted to take that challenge that I've done fairly well at everything that I've tried my hand at. And this just seemed like something that everyone kept saying is pretty impossible. And I wanted to try it.
So I know that it hasn't been long enough so far. Lekin abhi tak, how do you see the receptivity for this initiative in the audience, in the customers? We'll talk about the investors later.
I would have given up if it wasn't for the women of Pakistan. Every time I've even thought about this is really hard, the girls around me have kept me going. And it's messages that I get every day from women in Pakistan hey, thank you for doing this. And like incredible people like Rania who want to come like help us build this. This is really like all because of them. So amazing. And I think I respect women of Pakistan so much more, and I understand their problems so much more. It's so much more real than what it looks like from the outside as a man.
Absolutely, yes. I completely get that because it's very tricky when you're going for the kind of segment that's not already catered to, that's considered vulnerable, that's considered a minority in terms of the customer segments. But a Pakistani audience will always surprise you. I keep looking at the reviews. I saw some comments on your posts. I even did some customer research in general, and I saw that there was a lot of tendency in women to look for women-only ride-hailing services. People were asking how I can download this, when is it starting, what cities are you expanding to? So that's a good news for you.
Yeah, the funnily enough, the most hate that I've gotten is why are you guys not launching?
Exactly. So, I think you would love to have that hate
that's
any
a
day.
great problem to have, like people being mad at you for not launching sooner.
Yes, first world problems.
Sure, yeah.
Achha, so let's talk about pink washing now. Pink, women empowerment, women rights, that's more of a buzzword now. ठीक है? If you look at InDrive or Yango, of course, they promise safety to women as well, to all their customers as well. What makes Pinkfly different? What is it that you're tangibly doing? What systems do you have in place that make you different from these existing ride-hailing services? And if you could share any incident, if you have had in this limited time, that would tell the audience or women how actually safe Pinkfly is.
Sure. So I think it's important to understand what others are doing first, which is absolutely nothing. So if you want to become a driver at any other ride-hailing service, I will not take names. There's no human contact before you can become a driver.
Okay.
So you submit your documents, that's it. It takes 20 minutes for you to become a driver. I think that's very unsafe. We do have male drivers. Most of our drivers right now are men.
Okay.
That's like a demand and supply problem. But what we do is we've got a driver success team. And all the drivers that we are getting are drivers that are coming through a reference. So Shamir is someone that I trust, and Shamir will tell me, hey, this guy is my friend, so you can kind of trust him. But we don't stop there because we can't just rely on someone's word. We first talk to the driver ourselves. So far it's been like Shamir, me, or like 3-4 of the guys on the team, on the driver success team. Uske baad we do meetups thrice a week where we call like 10 to 20 drivers and we actually train them. And this training is about basic decency. Okay. Hey, don't stare from the rearview mirror. No one cares about your life story. आप ये क्यों कर रहे हो या आपका कौन बीमार है. Drivers have these tendencies of telling very long
Personal stories, absolutely.
So like, sorry, but no one cares. Third is do not play music. No one wants to listen to Bole Chudiyan when you're driving.
Yeah, or Punjabi songs,
Yeah.
or Pashto songs.
And the last one is ke do not text people after the ride is done. Like if you need to talk to them, come to us and we'll take care of that. So these are very basic things that other services do not tell them about. So these are rules for Pinkfly. Uske baad, once that is done, uske baad we have a recorded video of Shamir and I, which is like a final step, and we also give them a paper guide. Again, follow these rules. Uske baad, so these are the proactive measures that we have. We want to make sure that they're well trained. Uske baad, in the ride, all Pinkfly rides are monitored. Right now they're audio monitored, तो मतलब के पूरी ride की audio record होगी.
Okay, audio recording.
In the future, we do want to introduce dash cams, क्योंकि in a country like Pakistan, in like he said, she said situations, people generally tend to believe men, and there's a lot of victim blaming. कि hey, why were you out this time पे आपने ये पहना क्यों हुआ था, which absurd, right? So by having tangible proof, taking action becomes really easy. So if I can prove it कि यार इस बंदे ने हमारे ये rules तोड़े हैं, we kick them off on the very first instance.
ठीक है.
So which means that over time we would be left with a pool of drivers that we can trust. That's the second thing. And then the third thing is we have a zero tolerance policy. If someone does bring something to us, which has happened, not on a Pinkfly ride, but someone reached out to us, hey, one of your drivers is kind of sending me these messages, and we removed him indefinitely. He's banned. He'll never get to drive on Pinkfly. Funnily enough, he's writing some hate posts on me right now. So that's that. So it's more about how much we care about the customer. We won't let anything slide. And if there would ever be an incident, which we hope it never occurs, we'll take care of things. And we won't be like, which other services do, okay, you had a very bad incident, how about a discount for your next ride? I don't think that's the right way to handle these things. So it's about being very customer first.
And I just have 2 follow-up questions.
Sure.
एक तो ये कि if the drivers are reference-based, that gives you very limited access to drivers, right?
Yeah.
आप कितने लोगों को आप जानते होंगे या शामिर और आपके बाकी टीम मेंबर्स जानते होंगे जिनको आप हायर करेंगे who are trusted enough to become the drivers.
Yeah.
दूसरा सवाल ये है कि, and I could repeat this later if you forget, you mentioned dash cams. I also saw कि आपके ऐप के रिव्यूज़ में people were appreciating the face recognition feature. And some were also criticizing it because with the Parda situation in Pakistan, many women are not comfortable with being recorded.
Yeah.
So how are you guys going to cater to that?
So we've removed the facial verification because the facial verification was done to ensure that only women could be customers. We wanted to do that to protect our female drivers. And one of the reasons we are not doing female drivers, and there are a few of the services who've kind of started doing what we are doing with female drivers, I think that's very unsafe because if there's a crazy man who wants to be in an isolated place with a woman, and if there's a ride-hailing service that offers you female drivers, but there's no way to ensure that only women can download that app, he can very easily just bypass the system and then call a female driver, right? That seems very unsafe to me. So the reason we're not doing female drivers abhi is that without the facial verification, we need a better way to verify that only women can join the platform. That's one.
About the drivers.
What was your first question? Sorry. The scalability problem. So, abhi our tech is good, but it's not where we want it to be. So, the tech challenges that we have, we're handling those operationally. Matlab ke abhi because we don't have a strong enough tech solution for like our driver onboarding. That means that me and Shamir have to go out in the field and find these drivers.
Okay.
But with time, once we have some revenue, we have more customers, we will build good enough tech okay, all of this could be automated.
Okay,
And at that
absolutely.
point, we won't have to, no, everyone would not have to be reference based, but everyone will have to talk to a human. As we grow in size, we would also like to include psych exams for drivers. So we'll hire a psychologist and make sure drivers also go through that.
Okay, perfect. That makes sense. Acha, I have this one very natural question that comes to me as a female audience. Uh, just having a ride hailing service limited to female customers doesn't make sense to me. अगर आपने एक ऐसी सर्विस इंट्रोड्यूस कराई होती that was just limited to women drivers, that might have had made more sense, because at the end of the day, I could still go to any other platform, and that promises safety, or that promises that, like you, they also promise कि हमारे drivers are well verified, they go through this screening and everything. How does Pinkfly differentiate itself in terms of this if it doesn't have female drivers only? Because at the end of the day, it's the safety that you want to feel inside the vehicle during that ride. Or usme, if it's not women only, if that environment isn't women only, it doesn't make sense to me how it is a women only or solely women empowered initiative.
Do you use any other ride-hailing services? You use some ride-hailing services,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I do.
When you sit in a ride, what's the first thing that you do? Like you as a woman,
I usually open the map myself to track where he's going to take me.
do you send your location to someone?
Yes.
So almost every girl in Pakistan that uses these services sends their location to someone.
Absolutely.
What that means is that you're uncomfortable in that place. So by having like monitoring, we also have two support teams. One of them is driver support. We call that driver success, and the other one is customer success. So at any point in a Pinkfly ride, if you press like a button, there's like a purple button for support. Someone will reach out to you within 15 seconds, because like they're all watching the rides. So we've got a dashboard where we see all the rides, and this support team will scale with time as well. So we want people to know, okay, hey, we're here with you. So if you book a Pinkfly right now, someone from our support team will actually text you, okay, hey, aapka ye driver hai, and like we just want to let you know, okay, we are all here. Now, obviously, like, we won't be able to text everyone in the future, but we are there. So it's about educating about the service. If I told you that baki services ka process is that they don't even talk to the drivers versus we are doing like XYZ steps, then you know that these people are actually doing this. So I think with every other service, they're pretending to do what we are doing. And the reason we exist is because they're lying about what they say they're doing. You can't say that you have good drivers if you've never spoken to those drivers.
Yeah, but Saim, what if they imitate that in the future? What if they also introduce dash cams and they also say कि हमारी surveillance internal hai instead of you know, calling
I think that would be great. Like if InDrive decides that if a different
sides and implements.
yeah, then that would be great for Pakistan and Pakistani women. If they decided that they wanted to go solve this problem, it would be great. But they've had 10 years to do it. Like Uber came to Pakistan 10 years ago. InDrive's been here for like about 3-4 years.
Yeah.
They've had the time. There have been multiple reports on Django and InDrive. No one's done anything about it. So if they want to solve the problem, by all means. But these are international companies that play by international standards, right? So this is a very local problem, right? And I think they don't have the local context that we do to be able to solve this.
I was checking InDrive's Nigeria page, I think, and they have this option where they can opt for women drivers only. Of course, we don't have that in Pakistan, but you know, this could be, since you're talking about international standards, so implementation ka problem hai. At some point, it could be implemented in Pakistan as well.
Great.
Exactly. I love the answer, because जो मैंने शुरू में सवाल पूछा था ना कि passion project है, social cause है, that clarifies it, that you're more dedicated to the cause.
Yeah, if someone,
than to the
if
business.
InDrive has more money than us, if they do everything that we're doing, we will go do something else. There's enough problems in this country that we can pick a different problem and solve it. I don't think they're going to do it, because how many women do they want that they come out in public and speak against them for them to do it? Because I have read at least 100, and at least 100 have reached out to me, ke, hey, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. And all these girls, they reach out to their support and then they get ghosted. This is a real, you asked for an example, right?
Yeah.
People have come to me and they've told me that they reached out to a support of a company, and they were ghosted by that company. They said, okay, we'll reach out to you.
Absolutely.
And they never
Yeah,
did.
I experienced that as well.
I can name the first 3 people who took up Pinkfly, right? Because I spoke to all of them. So we're much closer to our customer, and I think we're much more dedicated to solving the problem.
That makes sense as long as your customer base is limited and accessible, right? What are your plans for scalability? How do you plan to scale? Because you're not going to scale to male customers, right? This is going to
Yeah.
stay dedicated to women only.
Yeah.
So what other ways does Pinkfly think of scaling up to? And what are the challenges that you're foreseeing in that case?
So I think a lot of people think by having only women customer, we're really limiting our business. I don't think that's true, because there's 2 kinds of scaling. There's horizontal scaling where you keep adding more customers, but there's also vertical integration, which Apple does really well. So what we want to do is, once we have solved this problem, which will take some time, then we'd have like this large database of women, and they would be all customers, they would trust us. Then we'd go build something else for women that would make us more money. So we're only going to focus on women, but there's multiple things that you can build that like would benefit from having like an all women audience.
Okay, so I hear the word women a lot. That seems like the keyword that your entire business is revolving around. मुझे ये बताएं कि Pinkfly is solving a problem, and you said problems तो बहुत है पाकिस्तान में. What are you guys doing to mitigate that problem? Are there any initiatives that you're taking around women empowerment specific to self-defense trainings, or trainings of women drivers, or any other system around that? So other than just being a solver to this problem, you're also helping women feel safe in general.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So currently, we've done this once and we'll do it again. We did a scooter event where we taught like a bunch of girls how to drive electric scooters. We do plan on introducing electric scooters pretty soon, hopefully. Yeah, because we want to break these stereotypes. And so we also kind of want to build a female bike here.
Okay.
So like we require female scooters for that. We'll teach them. But the grand vision is that once we have enough revenue, we'll delve into all kinds of things. Just say women education is something that I'm super passionate about. Education in general is something that I'm very passionate about. But giving them education. I found out today that periods are also so pads in Pakistan, like women pads, are taxed very highly. So I think all sorts of women-centric problems
Basic necessities.
suffer from like male-dominated leadership, unfortunately. So I think we've got a very large percentage of women on the team, and it's really them that I'm listening to. Okay, they would tell me, yaar, like we also face this problem, because I don't know. I did not know this until today. And then we'll go like try to like solve those problems as well. So yeah, but this is something that becomes a luxury when you have revenue. So Abhi, we're fighting for our life. So we're not doing any of these things right now, but 100% we'll do them later.
I would love to see that happen. Acha, I really want to learn about the Pakistan startup or investor ecosystem right now, especially when it comes to initiatives like Pinkfly. So when you go to acquire funding, or when you talk to investors about Pinkfly, what's the bigger challenge? To make business sense out of it, or to convince them how important this initiative, this social initiative is, to make them understand कि ये necessity है, luxury नहीं है. And based on that, so far, whatever your experience has been, do you think that Pakistani investor ecosystem is ready for it? Or they actually care about social innovation? Yeah, it's just for PR.
This is probably getting me cancelled, but I don't think investors in Pakistan care that much.
Yeah.
Because every investor in Pakistan that I've pitched this to has kind of shrugged it off. I don't know, masla hai bhi ke nahi hai.
Absolutely.
And also, it's mobility, it's ride hailing, it can't be done, ye wo. I will not take any names, but I spoke to a very high leadership of one of these ride hailing companies in Pakistan, and they said that this is an unsolvable problem. So whatever money we have raised, we've raised like a very small angel check, very tiny. It's from an investor that I know from Abu Dhabi. And Abibi, the money that we're trying to raise, it's most likely going to be external investors. I do think that Pakistani investors will come in once we're like slightly later stage. I think uh, it's called pre-seed. Pakistan में pre-seed is not a thing. So pre-seed के नाम पे they're kind of funding companies that have revenue. So I think the Pakistani investment ecosystem um, doesn't really follow what, like, just like the US ecosystem does, and they want to see a lot more out of founders than like a founder in US would need to present. So not a fan of the ecosystem, but I get it.
So I clearly see that you guys are currently pretty much swimming against the tide, right? What's Pinkfly's end game? Do you see yourself? And I need an honest answer here. ठीक है कि actually
I've been
Pakistani.
fully honest, but sure.
Let's see. So Pakistani ecosystem में actually where do you see Pinkfly going? Do you see it merging into the existing system at some point in the future, or do you foresee Pinkfly changing the existing system?
This is a difficult question to answer at this point, because I might change my thoughts on this in the future. So my answer to this at this point, which is November 2025, is that we are going to create our own path, which is going to be a middle path. So in Pakistan, rather in any venture capital backed company, there's only two paths. One is that you raise no money, and the other is that you raise a lot of money. I think both are somewhat flawed. For a startup, for the investors, it makes sense because that's the model that they're following. They're betting on a few small companies to bring all their returns. The reason it hurts startups is that if you do raise venture capital, you have to grow exponentially. And in that exponential growth, I think you lose a lot of fundamentals of business. And when you let go of the fundamentals, you will eventually crash.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do is we want to raise angel investments from people who see this as an important problem and building a business, not this fake users, fake revenue game that a lot of people are playing. We don't want to be a part of that.
And so I see that there is a lot of uncertainty, as it should be. You guys have just started a few months back, right? Before I move ahead to the next question, when did you guys exactly launch?
November 1st.
Great. So there's a long road to go ahead, and I think you guys are still making sense of things as you move forward.
Yes.
मुझे ये बताएं कि so far this idea, it must not have been the first idea that you would have got, right? Yeah, Pinkfly doesn't seem like that random 3 a.m. thought जो आपको आई और आपने अगले दिन सोचा कि let's make it real. This is going to change my life. How do you know that an idea is worth betting your life on? या आपको अपनी नौकरी या existing जो भी source of income है या plan है, उसको quit करके उस idea को pursue करना चाहिए?
Obsessiveness. If it's something that you constantly keep thinking about, I think there's this flaw in the way we teach business, where I've seen this in almost all business schools, where they're teaching more risk analysis than more like taking risks. So it's always they're always trying to find out why something wouldn't work. I believe if you put in enough effort into something that you're deeply obsessed with solving, you will be the person that goes on to do it. A great example of this would be NVIDIA's founder, sorry bahar ki example de raha hu, Jensen, who started working on GPUs way before they were even like mainstream thing, right? So he thought, this is so important, bet his life on it, worked on it all his life, and now it's the most important piece of technology that we've ever created, like his, I think, H100 GPUs. So I think you kind of have to be able to see things the way others don't. And you have to, I think Ray Dalio, the famous investor, said this, the way to make money in markets is to bet against everyone and be right. And I see startups as the same way. Okay, you kind of have to take a chance and you have to think, यार सब गलत है और मैं सही हूँ.
But this is a tricky thing to do in Pakistan.
It's a tricky thing to do everywhere. Again, I would say that only do a startup if there's a problem that keeps you up at night.
And if that problem is only making sense to you and not the ones around you, for example, the investors that you were dealing with, or
It could be a problem that makes sense to everyone, but it's unlikely. Just say you would probably आप भी probably ये देख रही होंगी कि almost everyone just wants to invest in an AI company right now.
yeah.
So you just like add like a .ai on your domain and like there you go. And all of these startups most of these are going to fail. I've seen this in like Web3 in 2018, Jumper, like there was this huge bull run. People started companies, random companies, and we got some money. They all went in the ground. Same happened, I think, in like 1999 with the .com thing.
Yeah.
It's going to happen again. So like these things repeat in cycles. I would say that if you for like right now, if you remove the AI from your business, if it's still a business, it's probably a good idea. But if you remove the AI and like you don't have anything, that means that it's probably not a great idea.
सही है. So we see कि startup fail होने की probability काफ़ी high है. ठीक है, in general as well, according to the stats, around 90% of the startups are likely to fail. So keeping your mind open and being ready for all possibilities. If one day you stop receiving the rides and there's no growth, I really hope this never happens. But talking about your risk analysis and your planning, what is one thing that still is going to keep you going?
The people. So I think if Pinkfly was not a ride-hailing startup, it would be like something for women startup. The people around me, I value them more than anything. And I think I came back from Canada, so I've thought काफी बार कि यार वापस चला जाता हूँ. But I can't because these people have put a lot of faith in me, and they're somewhat betting on me, right? So even if everything was to go to shit, I don't know if I was allowed to say that, I would still keep building something because of the people around me.
Yeah, so given that you're a young entrepreneur and you are building something that's kind of an innovation, a social innovation in Pakistan's ecosystem, you do keep yourself open to shifting to something else with the similar cause in mind.
Yes, I do have this thought that we'll be able to pull this off. I do think we can do this. But if someday me and the girls and like Shamir and we all think, yaar, this is not working out.
And so by the way, second thoughts aati hain ya during this entire journey. And this is for all the people who do think of starting something of their own and doubt themselves.
So I've done a lot of things. I've been in the army. I've been to like universities bahar. I've been in a startup as an employee. Doing a startup is the hardest thing to do because there's no road, right? Like you can't say like अच्छा 4 साल की degree करनी है, ये courses करने हैं, अच्छे grades लेने हैं, and you'll get this GPA. Or like if you do a job, like okay, you'll get this salary. You have to create something from nothing.
Yeah.
Which is pretty challenging. So this has been the hardest thing that I've done, but it's also been the most fulfilling thing that I've done. So my advice to anyone would be you would have a lot of fun if you're not lying to yourself and people around you. I think a lot of people that want the founder title are just lying.
Yeah.
So if you actually care about something, it'll be so much fun. This has been incredibly fun for me. I enjoy it.
And how do you know that it's not just one of the things that you did in the past and got bored of and moved to something else? And this is the one.
So I do have a few other ideas that I sometimes think maybe I should start those too. I do have a tendency of getting tired of things. But because this is kind of like my child, something that I've created fully by myself, I don't see myself getting bored. Just say, I was up all night yesterday. I hope it doesn't look like it. And we were making like a plan for how we could be the first company that unifies all the vans that transport students to universities. So if you build something yourself, you're like in love with it. This is the most pure form of love that I've ever given to anything. And so no, I'll never like abandon it.
Yeah, and I think with startup, that's the good thing. You never get bored. There's always some challenge. There's always something that's going to keep you awake at night and keep you going. So at least the being bored or tired part is
Yeah,
not
I'm
going
not
to
sure
bother
if
you,
that's a good
hopefully.
thing, but like here we are, no sleep.
So, acha, Saim. So, I'll be wrapping it up now. These are pretty much all the things that I wanted to know, and I assume that the audience would want to know about Pinkfly as well. But I'm just going to give you a minute of open room to tell anything to us about Pinkfly, or for anyone who doesn't know about Pinkfly, because you guys just started. So,
I have a minute.
no, I mean, take your time.
If I do have a minute, I'm not going to talk about Pinkfly. I'm going to talk about the idea of fixing this country. I've lived in like 5 different countries, thoda thoda time, and this is our country. Like this is where we like come from. That will never change, and so the best we can do is try to fix what we have. And I do think it's fixable. I get this a lot कि यार मैं तो करना चाहता हूँ लेकिन मुझे कोई करने नहीं देगा, and there's this like weird invisible force जो कि मुझे कुछ
Yeah.
ठीक नहीं करने देगी. I don't believe in all of that, and I think people should also not believe in that. I think we should all take a bunch of risks, go try to do big things, and once we have like a few $billion startups out of Pakistan, that would create a lot of jobs, a lot of positivity. What this country needs is like hope. And I have this word that I coined, which is, you know how there's like the American dream.
Yeah.
I think there's the Pakistani spirit. Like how we know कि हम India से match हारेंगे, but we all still like gather in crowds. You know how like in Ramzan, like we all like go give food to people. So I think the Pakistani spirit is very strong, and I think we need to put this in young people's minds. Ke, hey, there's no box that you need to live in, and go crash that box, do your thing.
Yeah, the invisible limitations and everything.
I think that was a minute, but that's all. I can talk about that for like 1 ghanta, but I don't think we have the time. So
I don't think we have a ghanta, but I
Yeah.
think you have shared pretty much all the critical information that people would not want to know about Pinkfly. And speaking of hope, honestly, I personally feel like ज़िंदगी में कुछ भी करने के लिए वो जो बच्चों वाला ब्लाइंड ऑप्टिमिज्म होता है ना, जो बचपन में होता था कि मैं सब कर लूँगा, और इम्पॉसिबल चीज़ें भी लगता था कि मैं ये फिक्स कर लूँगा, ये टॉय तोड़ के मैं दोबारा जोड़ लूँगा. I think you need to have that in life, especially if you're doing something
yeah, I've
that's
told a
different.
few people ke, I don't care if you believe in this or not, we're gonna do it anyway. Now we're at a point where people do see this happening, but in the beginning everyone was like, kaise hoga? So I think a lot of delusional self-belief, but also like
Delusional self-belief,
but also execution.
absolutely. Exactly.
Delusional self-belief will like lead you into a wall and you'll crash, but like delusional self-belief and execution and focus, you change the world.
Yeah, with work and a lot of planning. Absolutely. Thank you so much for all the information and personal journey that you shared with us, Saim.
Thank you for having us.
I hope and pray that the cause that you're working on, you're actually able to achieve that. And at some point, women feel safe with all the colors, not just the color pink. All colors are theirs. And they're able to fly without the association of pink as well.
Yeah.
They're able to feel comfortable with all shades, all colors, and all spaces.
Black fly. Yeah.
Black fly.
No, I think women have a very important role to play in fixing this country. And I don't think we can do it without their help. So we have to fix this.
Absolutely love the cause. Thank you so much, Saim.
Thank you for having me.